RWBY, Volume 6, Episode 6, Alone in the Woods. What happens? We start off with the group being anxious and Qrow saying they'll be able to leave in the morning. Maria tells Oscar that she's found the owner of the farm's diaries, but before she can go into them too much, RWBY tells the group to go to bed. The group accidentally sleeps in, but still seems lethargic as they get ready to leave. Spirits are low as the team starts to question their mission. Losing hope and energy, RWBY accidentally drops the lamp down the well, and while the others don't see a problem with this, RWBY insists on getting it back. As the girls look in the well, Maria discovers what happened to the farm, just as Team RWBY finds the Grim responsible. The apathy. Bullets don't seem effective, and the apathy scream sucks its victim's energy away. Maria appears to help and the group flees through the maze-like tunnels. The girls find an exit, but the Grim are making movement near impossible. It seems like the end of the line as the monsters reach for Blake until Ruby's eyes flash, dispelling some of the apathy and giving the team some much-needed energy. Unfortunately, the spirit boost is short-lived as the Grim regroup. Maria talks RWBY through her silver eye powers to help her destroy a large number of the apathy. Yang manages to break open the escape route, leading to the minibar where Qrow is. Weiss uses the alcohol to start a large fire, and the team flees from the farm. On the road, Maria explains what happened to the farmers, the kids reconcile, and after a few questions, Maria reveals that she has silver eyes to finish off the episode.
Are you okay?
Sure.
Vic doesn't sound like he knows if this line is supposed to be sarcastic or not. It's just kind of an uncertain line read. Why does RWBY care so much now about Qrow's drinking? I understand being upset at him when he drinks in excess, but this blatant judgment for the guy for wanting a drink at the end of a hard day seems so out of nowhere. You know, the characters in the show seem to think Grim are a lot bigger of a problem than they actually are. Don't get me wrong, some Grim are legitimately threatening and are difficult enemies to face. This episode even has that. But for the most of the show, Grim are cannon fodder. I just don't understand this prerogative where the characters are always talking about the Grim as if they're hyper-dangerous, always life-threatening super problems that make life a constant struggle, when in action, they act as dumb baddies for the kids to plow through at high speed with no effort. There's just such a dissonance between what we're told and what we're shown, you know?
The last thing you'll catch me doing is letting some kid tell me what to do. Go to bed.
This is basically how I feel every single time RWBY talks. So, RWBY blames Qrow's drinking for them sleeping in late. He got drunk and so we overslept. Except, isn't it more likely that the apathy had kept them all too sleepy to wake up in time? Like, Qrow hasn't done anything wrong yet. He had a couple of drinks but was clearly not inebriated last night. Don't forget he held his own while fighting Winter and he was smashed then. Clearly Qrow knows how to hold his liquor. But really, Qrow's drinking doesn't become a problem until he decides to be a bitch baby and hide away in the bar while the kids fix the trailer and get the lamp out of the well. He becomes asinine and downright useless then, not even registering the apathy coming up through the cellar door until Weiss had lit them on fire. Honestly, I think that should have been the conclusion to the make Qrow stop drinking arc thing that they have for the volume. Having it continue on all throughout the volume only muddies the message during their stay at the farm, and also forces the characterization to drag its heels to an aggravating degree.
If we're all so tired, maybe we should make breakfast?
You want to make it?
Not really.
I love this interaction. It's just really nice and funny. It makes me wish we didn't always see the same pair-ups all the time. Ruby's always with Weiss, Blake's always with Yang, Qrow's usually with Oscar, Ren's always with Nora. Even small interactions like this would be nice to see more of.
You people are just beacons for bad luck, aren't you?
How do we hint that this is Qrow's semblance at work? Just have Maria ham-fistedly say it! This line annoys me every time I hear it because of how dumbly on the nose it is. I guess this is just the me critiquing Qrow video, but honestly this is a good moment to bring up an important point. It's impossible to tell what is or is not Qrow's semblance. Unless the characters point-blank tell us,
Good luck with that.
there's no way for us to know. Unlike Emerald's hallucinations or Ren's masking, there's no cues for Qrow's bad luck. If there were a visual effect or an accompanying sound effect, then we would always be in the know for when he's fucking things up. But since we don't have anything like that, it's constantly up in the air, which has led to some off-the-wall assumptions for the fandom. Weiss forgot how to fight and threw herself into a pillar because of Qrow's bad luck. Jean whiffed his attack against Cinder because of Qrow's bad luck. RWBY burns dinner because of Qrow's bad luck. We're just left to decide whatever headcanon we want because of this. Even in the show, the characters just assume Qrow's semblance is happening or not. He blamed it for the manticores attacking the train, but it's far more likely that they had been attracted by the lamp. No one can tell if Qrow's semblance causes something or not, and I think that's a detriment to the story.
I'm so tired. Me too. It feels like we're always having to fight to get by.
Your mother and I will always love you.
I'm here to rest, to figure things out, and to see my family.
I'm joking, I really like this scene, but I can't help but think Yang's had it a bit more difficult learning to live with only one arm for a while and traveling across a continent to fight her way into her mom's bandit camp. I love having the girls question their mission. Why bring the lamp to Atlas? Why not hide it in Mistral? Because Ozpin said so? But I'm disappointed that this doesn't reappear after the farm adventure. Having the team talk about why they're continuing to follow the mission given to them by the man they all see as a bad guy, when they actually have some energy, would have been great. As it is, it sort of feels like a missed opportunity for characterization. I love RWBY's animation here, there's so much character and emotion on display. I also really like how this episode actually remembers that RWBY is our main character. She's the least affected by the apathy. Maybe the silver eyes help her and Maria fight off their influence, or maybe it's her speedy personality keeping her going. Either way, she really takes charge here, and that's fun to see. I like that the apathy doesn't just turn the girls into simple zombies, or momentarily evil. When Weiss, Yang, and Blake start sort of teaming up on RWBY, that's what I had originally assumed. Oh, they're gonna act mindlessly while tired. Oh, they're gonna act as brainwashed zombies. But no, they're just tired. They don't want to do anything, but they do still agree to help RWBY retrieve the lamp, and Blake even comes up with a solution to finding it in the dark. I like that, not only because it's a unique take on this sort of story, but also because it means RWBY gets to play the starring role, but the whole team still gets to be involved. 10 out of 10.
Where are you going?
Where do you think?
Stupid.
Don't forget, kids, everybody hates alcohol. Say no to drinking! Like, I don't even like drinking alcoholic beverages. I think they're gross. I hate hanging out with drunk people. But the constant hounding of the subject in the show is fucking annoying. Like, yes, Qrow's being an ass here, but why are we suddenly shitting all over his drinking? It's not the fact that RT is trying to push a drinking's bad message, but rather the ham-fisted, super judgmental, out-of-nowhere way they've done it. The time we take as the girls trudge through the well water while Maria reads the diary is some really fun tension building. We know something's in here with the girls because we saw its eyes, and Maria's increasingly concerned expressions help to give us anticipation for finally seeing what it is. Side note, I should have mentioned this earlier, but they do a great job having Maria successfully and clearly emote with her robo eyes. Good job, team! How did RWBY not see the bright-ass blue light right in front of her? I love the apathy. These are such intimidating enemies. Their designs are all the best parts of the Knuckleavi, but without the horse. They're so threatening without moving at Mach speed like most things in the show, and they feel so unique. I've heard that these are Miles' favorite Grimm, and if that's true, I totally understand why. The spooky-ass violins that pervade the soundtrack throughout this encounter are amazing, selling the "this is scary" vibes so well. Background musicians all get a gold star. Why are the girls so well illuminated here? It's like they forgot to add a shading layer to this cut. Is there a reason that Blake seems the most affected by the apathy? Are Faunus more susceptible to them? Does it have to do with her already pretty apathetic nature? Was she just the closest to the Grimm? There's no blatant, clear-cut answer for it, and I appreciate that. So often in RWBY, something will happen exclusively for setup. Cinder stabs Weiss, so Jean can save his first crush of the show. I like that this scenario doesn't have a black and white reasoning behind stuff like this, allowing the viewer to speculate a little.
What just happened?
This is one of my favorite lines from the show. Melissa Sternenberg conveys so many emotions with only 3 words. It's great. Weiss, you can definitely open those doors even though they're locked. You can summon Armor Guy to crash through them. You can form an ice chunk to break them open. You can use your fancy gravity glyphs to pull them open. You don't need Yang to punch it for you. This is a really cool shot and displays the too tired to move thing really well. Finally, we get to talk about RWBY's eyes. It's not a lot, but Maria walking RWBY through using them is a fun first step for conquering this ability. We're finally given a good reason to care about Maria, other than her funny sass, while also doing some major development for our title character. Gold stars. The moment of silence after RWBY blasts the apathy is so great. After the constant yelling between the girls and the violins going bananas as the Grimm encroached, this total lack of sound sells the awe of RWBY's ability, while also allowing the audience a moment to breathe after releasing all that tension they had just built up. See, this is doing the alcohol bad thing well. Qrow is useless right now, and if he hadn't been busy getting hammered, he may have been able to help the girls as they almost died in the tunnels. And the look of realization on his face as the kids drag him out of the house, the look that says, "Oh shit, I really fucked up," could have been a great way to prompt Qrow to quit drinking. But no, gotta drag it out as long as possible for no reason. This is another really great line read. Way to go, Barbara! Also, imagine how confused Oscar must be. He saw the girls jump down the well and are now somehow back in the house? Fun stuff. Maria's explanation of what the apathy do and how they ended up in the well is a lot of fun. Unlike, say, Weiss talking to Yang about her mom, this story has directly affected us. Weiss's story had felt like unrelated backstory that lasted for too long. We want to know how this happened, and Maria tells us clearly and quickly, and quite frankly, these visuals are more fun to look at too. Maria having silver eyes would have probably been a better surprise if they didn't blatantly hint at it during the opening. And so, that was Alone in the Woods. I love this episode. It has finally dethroned Never Miss a Beat as my favorite episode of RWBY. It's such a concise and well-paced adventure that not only allows the characters to be more than just exposition dumps, but also lets our title character play the role of protagonist for once. I've heard the complaint that this episode isn't very good because it has nothing to do with the main plot, and I get that. The kids learning about the apathy doesn't get them any closer or further from their goal of destroy Salem, but I'd argue that isn't a bad thing. The entire Council of Evil are totally absent from the episode, and I think that's for the better. It's certainly more fun to watch our heroes go on an adventure in the tunnels than to sit through Jessica Negri trying to have Cinder emote anything other than smarm. And besides the lackluster writing often attributed to the villains, this episode does further the main story. RWBY takes her first step in learning how to use her eyes. One can't deny that her eyes are a staple of the core plot, and her gaining control over them is a major plot element. Just because the girls aren't walking closer to the baddie's lair, or aren't dealing with the villain's direct machinations, doesn't mean the plot isn't being affected by the development the kids go through. And honestly, this episode is so tightly written that I wish the whole show would switch over to this Monster of the Week format found at the farm. The girls show up to a new place, there's some setup on a problem in the area, the girls face a baddie and head out to the next location to save. Only taking 1 to 2 episodes to fulfill an arc like this allows for concise, satisfying narratives. Compare that to the volume-long arcs we've been getting instead. Ying's struggling to live without her arm, she's sad for a bit, puts the arm on, and disappears for 4 episodes. She sits around the house waiting for the finale to roll around and then finally leaves. This long-form way of going about the stories means everything has to drag its heels until the arbitrary time for the volume to finish moment. This also means lots of stuff gets either dropped or jumped over due to the inability to plan ahead too far. Ying is awkward around Blake. There's some tension still brewing between the characters. Nothing happens between them for 5 episodes and then suddenly the two are all better and flirting. Where did the middle of the arc go? But here, that's not a problem. With only 2 episodes to tell the farm story, the writers and directors are able to plan out what to set up, what to resolve, what should get cut, and what we need to see. And this allows the story of the farm to be one of the most satisfying ones in the show. The only real downside is the naggy way they go about establishing Qrow's drinking problem, but those minor moments aren't enough to hinder the overall enjoyment of the episode. It's fun getting to see RWBY take charge. The apathy are one of the few Grimm that actually feel like a threat. The animation looks great throughout the episode, with a lot of cool shot composition, nice effects, and a lot of fun animation happening with the girls' eyes. The pacing is great, with not a single dull moment in the episode. Nothing feels rushed through or drags on for too long. The entire cast are giving some real nice performances. The episode is just an absolute delight through and through.
Nope, 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 no thanks, no thank you.